styling, profiling, and ready to get back into Solitaire. I should probably mute my phone. Just as quick as they appeared, leaving me wondering if this simply was a typical for the rich and famous, fleeting from one scene to the other without care. I think we're back in the mansion, if I remember correctly. So I'd rather stay in my rundown apartment with our little shack back home. There's still joy in not missing the smallest of things after all. Okay. With a house this big, it's not surprising when the ceremony takes a few hours to finish. The sun's already high in the sky by the time we've gone through the last room. I can never say I'm a devout follower of my own faith, even with Mama and Papa's teachings. But hearing every passage, every word Father Norman uttered as we went around the house, he had set a lull in me, soothing or comforting. All of a sudden, the mansion doesn't seem so scary anymore. Maybe there's an end to this. Or perhaps this is the end. Father Norman bids us goodbye upon exiting the mansion grounds. He has business in the village nearby, he says. A minute minute gesture to reach out to the members of the parish. Every once in a fuck, words are hard. It reminds me of a distant memory of helping hands and few kind smiles. What pulled my family together through when times are tough. But before he leaves...
Isabella, a word before I go. Zachary hasn't been really forthcoming with your situation, and it is something I understand it wasn't his to share. But whatever burdens you, know that it's not a permanent fixture in your life from which you'll come out stronger. Besides, you have people to bear it with.
I bite back the harsh retorts before they come out, masking it with a smile as we wave the good priest off. His words, though meant to be comfort, has only left something hollow in me and a bitter taste in my mouth. Well, the truth hurts, honey. But if they don't believe you, what am I to do? A tentative hand lands briefly on my shoulders, taking me out of my thoughts before they take a sullen turn. But my smile doesn't quite reach my ears when I turn to him.
Say, do you want to go somewhere?
Like, on a date?
Right now? Where to?
Anywhere in the city. I'll leave it up to you.
Let's hang out with Zach. He seems like a cool dude.
It wouldn't hurt. I've got some stuff I need to buy. Groceries. And there's a shop I want to check.
Is it real food this time?
Maybe.
Let me guess. Rebecca?
She's just worried about you. Even I can't eat that much instant noodles.
Clearly, you've never been broke.
Think of it as a talent. Let's just go, Zach.
I smile. Real one this time. Devoid of any unpleasant thoughts. Regardless of what happened, I don't want to think of them that way. Zach has me wait on a nearby bench upon arriving, prior to going off somewhere. He hasn't returned since, and it's been a good 20 minutes of being left alone entirely to my thoughts. In this weather, the city park gives a lazier and more languid vibe than usual. Where children are usually seen running around and playing, there are now people leaning back on their picnic blankets, simply enjoying the afternoon sun. The smell of food drifts from nearby food carts, and if the wind blows in the right direction, one will catch the whiff of freshly trimmed grass. I simply sleep on this bench if I'm not waiting for anyone, or I'll gladly sleep on this bench if I'm not waiting for anyone. Soon enough, I see his hulking figure running towards me, carrying a medium-sized box on one hand and casually waving the other at me. His panting Oh, he's panting when he reaches my bench, sweat dripping profusely from his forehead, but there's a grin on his face.
Sorry, the line was really long. Really long.
You didn't have to run. Sit down first.
Yeah, no kidding.
Nah, I'm good. Didn't want to make you wait for these.
I already know what's in the blue box before he opens it. That is my same reaction. Cinnamon rolls, all 6 of them topped with a white cream cheese glaze. The very same one I bought after I sold my first property. After I met Zach, Ash, and Becca. Funny how such a small thing can trigger a distant memory, no matter how mundane it is. I don't say no to free food, but why is he getting me these now?
What for?
He leans on the empty space beside me, wiping the sweat from his forehead before answering.
An apology. And as thanks for yesterday and the other day.
You don't have to buy me anything, Zach.
You were upset. You haven't been yourself recently, and people kind of miss that, you know?
Are you just saying that, or...
No, really, Rebecca told me. You know how she is. Ashton, too.
Ashton was an ass. He should have been named Ashhole instead.
Lol.
He went a little overboard, yeah. I can talk to him if you want.
He'll still tease me about it, even if it's Rebecca telling him to stop. Besides, I can handle him.
Are we sure about that?
You always do. And yesterday, when you talked me through my little slump, I thought, hey, I want our old Isabella back. Are you still upset?
There are times when I wish Zach had been my big brother, or Becca, my older sister. Maybe life would have been a little easier then. Maybe Papa wouldn't be as sick as he is. Maybe. Maybe I wouldn't be alone here. But then again, if he is, if that are what I wish them to be, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't have met Ash, too. Life back home is tough, but for all that, I wouldn't change it for one selfish wish. In this city of 68,000 people, I have people I can depend on. 3 of them, in fact. When you think about it, when you compare the numbers to the odds of finding someone like them amidst a sea of nameless people, I'm lucky.
Thanks a lot for today, Zach. You didn't have to, but you did. I can always count on you.
Just me? No Ashton or Rebecca? Oh boy, they won't be happy to hear that.
I would just take the compliment, butthead.
I don't mind being the favorite, though.
Nope, no favorites. But you cook better than both of them, so that's a plus.
Lol.
It's always been food with you, ain't it?
Don't put it like that! You're making me sound like a glutton.
Or fat.
I'm not saying you are, but it does feel good to know there's someone I can invite for food to be able to eat all of it.
Only that? I thought we were also art buddies.
Oh, that too. But the food thing really stands out when you think about it. You do eat a lot for someone your, size.
Low blow. I take pride in my height.
She's probably short as shit.
So, is it okay now? Do you feel better? Does it still scare you?
Is he talking about the ghost or his dick?
A little. I'll be okay. I'll figure it out, somehow. It's not as bad as the other day, and Father Norman helped too. I should have brought something to thank him.
Oh, we could visit him anytime. He loves hearing from the young ones.
Oh, dear Lord.
He isn't that old, is he?
Don't know. He doesn't tell. I think I might have seen his face somewhere before. I just couldn't recall when or where. Ash says he looks like his boss, so the bartender at the local pub if he squints. Don't take his word for it, of course. He might have accidentally inhaled something from the forensic lab again when he said that.
Oh, dear. This time, the laughter that comes from both of us is genuine. Back to the usual. Things may not have been the easiest lately, but it certainly isn't the worst that has happened. We do end up sharing the cinnamon buns between us, despite Zach's insistence that it's only for me, but more than the food, there's repose and contentment.
If you need anything, just ring, okay? Like when Ash annoys you too much. I'll help you with him, best friend or not.
No way. I can take him on.
Still an extra muscle wouldn't hurt, yeah? Just let me know, and I'll back you up. My sister knows this one thing to shut him up when he's being his usual self. Ask me what it is whenever you want, and I'll spill it.
Ay.
I don't think that's necessary, but thanks. I'll keep that in mind.
He leaves me with a smile and a wave. Off to some new gig again. As for me, well, still need to talk to Becca, Ash, and I, but petty arguments aside like the adults we are. This, however, is a start, no matter how small it may be. I just hope I can keep them safe. A light wind blows again, sending dried leaves swirling in the distinct smell of earth to the air. For the first time, the sunlight feels less harsh. Maybe a walk is good. I need to stock up on my pantry, too. Come to think of it, isn't there an art store that has opened recently near the park? I probably should move that out of the way. The cat's name is Bruethel? Or at least that's what his collar says. It's not a name to give a cat, in my opinion. When did a cat come into the picture? But it speaks grace, much like the other one that carries it. It also shows this is his tail, and his eyes follow my hands at every movement. I'm not sure what he finds fascinating in me, to be honest. I wasn't the very picture of grace when he found me, after all. It was a bad idea, carrying 2 heavy bags and a newly bought art materials and groceries without any help or a sure ride home. In hindsight, perhaps I shouldn't have bought these all at the same time. I didn't even make it past the park to the nearest bus stop. And now I'm suffering underneath the glaring afternoon sun, hunched up on a park bench and drenched in sweat, in the company of a cat curiously watching my every movement. I hope it stays where it is. It's just a black cat, but back at home, they're still considered ill omens.
Don't look at me like that! I can act graceful as well if I want to.
Mm-hmm. Not that I've ever acted graceful in my life, of course. Growing up with a rowdy younger brother and sister does that. Or maybe it's the opposite. Mama used to call me a little troublemaker before. Ah, well, graceful or not, there's no use moping. A short breather and then I'm off home. Besides, it isn't like the company's bad. Even if it is a cat, as long as it doesn't bite or crosses my path.
Well, where's your owner, anyway?
He has one, doesn't he? An owner? That's what the collar is for, isn't it? A bandage is wrapped on one of its paws, though. I wonder what happened to it. Did he run away?
Well, if you don't have one, I won't be able to take you in. My apartment doesn't allow pets. I tried to bring one home before. A cat. Not black, of course.
Right.
And Rebecca threw a fit before the landlady could.
Oh dear. I take a small packet of sweets from one of the bags lying beside me and pop it open. Aww. As I'm about to put one in my mouth, he meows. My hand stops.
Do you want one?
He doesn't meow again as I'm expecting him to, but I take his unblinking gaze as a yes. I shift the piece to my palm and hold it out to him warily. He sniffs at it once, twice, before...
Baruthia!
Like a good, properly trained pet, Baruthiel responds as soon as he's called. Recognition comes as soon as my head snaps up in the direction of the voice. Miss McCullough is hard to miss, with her height, but most especially in the way she carries herself.
I'm sorry. Did my cat hurt you? Miss Santos, was it? I'm surprised to see you here.
Nice to meet you again, Miss McCullough.
Never mind the pleasantries. Were you harmed in any way? I'm sorry. Veruthiel's not exactly fond of other people. Even run away from the veterinarian right now.
Oh no, he was just sniffing my hand earlier.
My Veruthiel's a she.
Ooh. How dare you misgender an animal? She? All this time I thought... The pause in conversation, if this can be called one, is uncomfortable. We're merely two people working different jobs for the same client. Frankly, meetings like this don't happen a lot, and if it does, simple nodding of the heads is enough. Still, trying to be friendly couldn't hurt, right? Now let's talk about her cat. I kept my tone cordial and warm.
I'm actually surprised you have a cat, Miss McCullough.
And why exactly is that? There are a lot of people who have their own pets.
Yeah, but not a black one. I'm amazed you're taking care of one.
I don't understand what you're trying to get at. Is there a problem with my cat?
No, she's just complimenting you, cunt.
No, not at all. She's very sweet. Just in other cultures, aren't they a sign of bad luck?
Back at home it is. My grandmother used to tell us several stories about it, and...
Nothing has happened to me so far.
Our displeasure is evident on her face. Ah, of course. I've forgotten that for other people. Black cats are an omen of good luck. There you go again, running your mouth off, Isabella. Yeah, at least have some sort of recourse. Sheesh, woman. I rack my brain for a way to remedy the situation, but she holds out a hand.
This is a good place to stop and end this conversation, don't you think so?
If you want to be a bitch, yeah.
It is good to see you again, Miss Santos.
A complete dismissal if I've ever heard one. I watch as she leaves, though she stops shortly before crossing the threshold separating the park and the street. She faces me again, looking like there's something she's forgotten to say.
By the way, about the Ermengarde mansion, with my clients, it's the rights. I mean, I hope you don't mind me asking, but has the deal been finalized?
There's still a few papers they need, but the house is more or less theirs now.
Ah, thank you. That's all I needed to know.
Wait, about the mansion, the
letter. The same one they saw. Whoever she is, she's asking for help. Someone. I want to tell Miss McCullough that the urban legends aren't just legends anymore. They're real. She's not going to believe me.
Don't mind me. I need to go too. Have a good day, Miss McCullough.
I hasten to pick the bags I've left on the bench and ran as far as my legs can take me. In that moment, what I'm carrying in my hands weighs far lighter than the overwhelming guilt trying to consume me. Home. I want to be home. Anywhere where I won't be reminded of the house. Of her. Of my own cowardice. The food tastes less appetizing tonight. A pity. One would think that someone who had been on a continuous binge of instant noodles would find a home-cooked meal enjoyable. But it isn't. Hunger isn't what's gnawing at me tonight. Neither are my sore muscles. The TV runs loudly in the background, but what it says barely registers in my brain. It's hard when the things you're trying to forget keep returning to the forefront of your mind. It distracts you. It eats at you. Devours you. I wish this would stop. I wish I wasn't the one who picked it up. I wish it was somebody else.
In other local news, a woman was found dead in her home yesterday evening.
What the what?
Luxbourne police officials are currently investigating the crime scene, but has classified the case as homicide.
Huh?
The victim, identified as Rose Pamela Cooper, 33 years old, working as a real estate agent.
No! Rose?
Discovered lying in a pool of blood in her two-bedroom flat with the words "Help me" repeatedly written on the walls.
What? No. No. This isn't what I want. This isn't supposed to happen. None of this was supposed to happen. No one is supposed to die. Those are just stories, right? Legends? That's what everyone has kept telling me, so why... And I immediately rushed to my study table to search for my phone. My hand, cold from the dread, clings tightly to it as soon as I touch its edges. A piece of folded paper, the letter, lying unassumingly beside it, slips to the floor when I pick the evidence up. But I pay it no mind. There are more important things. Right now. I need to call her. I was with her. I was just with her not too long ago, and she was okay. No. It isn't Rose. I'm sure of it. I just talked to her, and a sob escapes me, and hot tears begin to blur my vision. One after another they trickle down, weighted by the very same guilt I refuse to admit I've been carrying from the start. The same one I've been hiding from. The same one that has put people I care about in danger. My hands shake as I navigate to Rose's number on my contacts list. She'll answer, right? That's what she always does. She'll pick it up, tell me to turn down the waterworks, and call me a wuss afterwards.
She'll answer. Please answer, Rose.
Again and again I dial. Whispering, praying, pleading.
Come on, Rose! Don't do this to me! Please pick up! I know you're there, Rose. You're not dead. Please tell me you're not.
This adds to the series of deaths and disappearances that has plagued Luxbourne in the recent years. The authorities are currently looking at a possible link with the notorious Anselm Butcher case.
A TV runs loudly in the background. A deafening static sounds from my phone's speakers, but in my ears, I can only hear the screams, her pleas, her whispers. We are not safe. Oh, come on! Rose was so cool! Why did you kill her off? Arrgh. A buzzing sensation jolts me awake. My body wants to sleep still, to forget what I heard, what I saw last night. But it's there, nudging, prodding at me. Slowly I became aware of how awkward my position is, and the aches that accompany sleeping in a curled-up position the night before. If I even slept at all. The memories are impossible to forget now that Rose is gone. They say it's easier when you say it out loud instead of the words weigh heavier on me each time. She's gone. Gone because of me. Gone because of one letter I was too curious to look at. I should have been more careful. I should have just kept my mouth shut. I should have just destroyed it before anyone else had gotten involved. I should have... The notification on my laptop blinks insistently, mockingly. When I look at it, it's as if it's calling me back to my sense of normalcy. I check it, nevertheless, out of habit, more than anything. Let's see, it says, to all BRC employees, in light of the recent events, there will be an all-staff emergency meeting from 1 to 2 p.m. Attendance is a must. Copy changes, new hierarchy, and policies will be discussed during the meeting. Everyone is expected to bring a copy of their own attendance logs and sales reports for the last 6 months to be submitted to your prospective managers for review. We're expecting everyone's cooperation. Thank you, Joanne Elise Schultz, BRC HR manager. If this were one of those typical days, I'd happily comply and get myself into our office. Today my limbs just feel heavy. On one hand, going will keep me busy, take my mind elsewhere. On the other, the place in itself is a stark reminder of what my own fears have cost me. Maybe I'll just go to work. Yeah. Moping won't get you anywhere. Gotta take your mind off of shit. This is just like one of those things, isn't it? You deal with it with a smile, no matter how bad things get, and just hope for the best. Although my whole body feels like lead and my limbs are sore, I push myself away from the chair and head towards the shower. The letter I dropped on the floor last night flutters open as I pass by, unfolding for no one else but me to see. Every word written on it glares at me. They sneer, they ridicule, like living beings fully aware of what they have done. With a huff, I pick it up and shove it into my bag, perhaps with more anger and frustration than I'm used to showing. This too, I'll deal with. Somehow I'll find a way and make things right. I have to. Before it takes more people from me. Even if I must do it on my own. The rustling, telephones ringing, feet shuffling. Overall, today looks like a typical working day at Briar Reality Corporation. Except it isn't. The air is thick with attention and unspoken questions. No doubt everyone present has heard about it. If they missed night's report, they'll likely see it in the morning news, in the papers, or on various news sites on the internet. Everywhere is a bitter reminder. In fact, everyone's giving me a wide berth, as though the mere mention of Rose will be enough to trigger something in me. It's appreciated, but it only serves to create a bigger hole in the place Rose has left. After lunch, my boss calls for a meeting. I don't have to look up from my work to know what this is about. He's in a strange, pensive mood today, probably out of respect for a dead colleague. Oddly, I'd appreciate it more if he just shouted at me today. Anything is better.
I'm sure you've all heard of what happened to Miss Cooper. She was a valued member of our team and she will be missed. There's no date for a funeral, yet, but those who wish to attend, kindly speak with your respective supervisors. By the way, has anyone heard about our still AWOL staff? None? HR, you know what to do. Santos, a word? In my office?
At the end of it, I've been giving the entirety of Rose's workload, including finalizing the rights papers, and have been promised an ample compensation for my efforts. I think he's expecting me to be happy about it. Instead, I immerse myself in my work. I have to, anyway, if I want to forget. Time flies when you do, and by the time I give notice, it's already late. Everyone's already gone, leaving me in the company of a radio and a member of our janitorial staff. I don't even know his name. Rose likely does. She remembers people easily like that.
The Luxbourne Police Department continues its search for the following reported missing people.
The radio blares one recognizable name after another. Hold on a second. Missing? Aren't they? Still, I've got to check. Frantic, I turn back to my desktop. The loud tapping of my fingers against the keys fills the office for the better part of my shift as I look through everything. The background about the place, its history from the current owners, and a list of employees hired under BRC. And I'm right. Of course I am. BRC may have a lot of staff, They may have a lot of agents hired under the company, but I'll remember those names anywhere. After all, they're also part of the crew who worked with us in preparing the mansion for the open house. Then the letters? No, that can't be. I hope it's not what I'm thinking.
But Rose is...
Something snaps into place in the fraction of the moment. Those people... Rose? The letter?
I need to... No, if it's like this, they still won't believe me. I have to make sure of it first.
Evidence doesn't lie. That's what Ash often says, right? I have proof. Then maybe. I don't want to get my hopes up yet, but maybe there's still a way I can save them. The letter, my phone, papers, anything that'll be useful. I grab all of them and stuff them in my bag. I can't stay here. There's something I need to do. There's something these people should... The noise cut sharply through the room, stopping my hand short of cramming a pen into my bag.
Hello? Anyone there?
Someone must have left the printer open again. I may be in a hurry, but if I don't turn it off, another person is certainly going to have a fit tomorrow over wasted company resources. Most of the time, it's Rose who does the nagging, but the clicking of my pen in my hand is a welcome distraction as I search for the said object. Each stride my feet takes, it also echoes through the empty workplace. I've lost sight of the janitor minutes ago, and with me being the only one left, the tapping of my feet against the wooden floor is something I soon learned to appreciate. It doesn't take me long to find it. By the time I turn it off, 5 copies have already strewn about the ground, the paper tray having also been left ajar. Sighing, I pick each of it up to put someplace proper. But the page that greets me next makes my blood run cold. What the fuck? The chill that makes its way up my spine is as numbing as the day in the attic. The sheets crinkle under my tense grip. All I can hear is my breathing as it rasps through my gritted teeth. But before I can even gather myself, take the first steps out of here, total darkness suddenly envelops me. What the fuck? As if hearing every horrid thought running inside my head right now, something snaps. A soft creak grating through the thin veil of stillness that has descended in the room. Oh shit. Every muscle, every bone in my body goes rigid at the sound. Familiar. So familiar now. Yet my own traitor's curiosity still presses me to make a full, careful peek over the cubicle wall. It's her, standing in the exit office, albeit facing away from me. She doesn't even need to turn around for me to know its misshapen face, tattered clothes, and unsightly gait. The same person in the attic. I take a step back, and the pen I'm holding slips from my hand. Her entire head turns. Oh shit. A scream almost escapes my mouth, and I duck under my table as quickly as I can. My heart is pounding against my chest. I can hear the bone-chilling sounds of her walk, the weird clinking that follows her, and the telltale squelch of something wet as she walks towards me. Nearer and nearer, the sounds are slowly getting louder, and the only thing keeping the whimper from escaping me is my hand that covers my mouth. Someone, please save me. Anyone? I close my eyes, muttering a continuous stream of prayers, all the while attempting to steady my own breathing. Please, please don't let her hear me. Oh shit. Oh shit. Oh shit. Oh shit. I fucked up.
Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven.
Oh shit.
Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses,
I fucked up.
as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen.
The last lines of my prayer has left me. All that remains is a hush. None of her footsteps, nor those chilling sounds she makes. Only silence. Is it safe? Another second passes when nothing comes. What? Ooh, what the fuck? Fine. Okay, continue. Alright, we're gonna try this again. We gotta be good. We gotta be good. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Shit. Fuck.
Our Father, give us and lead.
La 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 la. Yeah. No. Yeah. Damn it. Okay, so 2 out of 3 ain't bad. Alright, we got this. We got this. I can concentrate. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Shit, I screwed that up. Okay. Fuck. Okay. Damn it!
Our Father, give us and lead.
I don't want to look at her again. Okay. Alright. Another swig of wine. We got this. Shit. Okay. Oh, I was so close. God.
Our Father, give us and lead.
Alright, we're gonna get this. It's all about timing. Timing is key. Okay. 2, 3, 4. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Shit.
Our Father, give us and lead.
Okay, we're getting better. I mean, no, we're not. We're doing horrible. Okay. Oh, I did it! I did it! Oh. The seconds, minutes stretch out before me agonizingly. Is she gone? Slowly, I open my eyes to take a peek. I dare don't move or make noise. The face of such terror, I can only beg, let out a silent please to whoever's out there. Please, please don't let her notice. I want to live. Oh shit. Oh shit. Oh, I barely fucking did that. Okay. Okay. It's far too easy to get them to pay attention, enraptured. They hang on to my every word and follow my every move. All of it would have been stifling had I not grown used to such stares. Most are respectful, some are hostile, if we're honest, and a few are downright inappropriate. After all, I'm...
On a right!
God, that's a cringy voice. There's a moment of agitation as a familiar but less than welcome voice approaches me with an aggressive smirk on his face. Of course, I have to keep a benevolent smile and greet him as any good friend. After all, this man can turn heads, being famous in his own right.
Officer Lee! What a pleasant surprise. I didn't think you'd have the time to attend tonight's party.
He's more Luke's friend than mine. Really, I'm quite sure only I invited his wife. Much like I'm only friends with the chief inspector because Luke is only friends with Rochelle because of me. Unlike how I treated Lee, however, Luke never hid his animosity for the Lee matriarch. It was an odd sort of friendship, where we would only have awkward double dates. I don't even recall his first name. It started with an N, I think. Could be wrong. Aside from being Chief Inspector of Luxbourne Police, his wife, Rochelle Lee Vance, owns a General Electronics company, fridges and freezers mostly.
Oh, I always have time for my favourite socialite couple. Might I say, you look positively ravishing tonight.
He's flirting with her.
I see the husband isn't with you.
The way he eyes me up is enough to make my skin crawl. I wish Luke is here to fend off the more unseemly of our peers. I know the one, you know the ones. Men who are just a bit too friendly, staring too long at my assets, and getting close just because my husband is not here. And to think they have the gall to do this at my party? In my house, if I might add? But, like any high society woman worth her salt, I know how to handle it with grace and dignity.
I suppose you are looking pleasant as well. Luke's busy with work, unfortunately. Rochelle isn't here?
A shame. I do hope he isn't causing you much trouble. That husband of yours can be a bit tough sometimes, acting like he's still some young bachelor.
What are you implying there, homeboy?
The wife sends her regards and her apologies, but something came up with her doctor and she needed to attend to it. You know her, being pregnant and all.
We make small talk. Rather, I'm forced to do so, as he would not leave my side after finding his place there. Much to my chagrin, I've been extradited from the few who flock in hopes of flattering, for I can tolerate them far better than Lee. He's a nice enough person, and I adore his wife, who obviously is the brains behind the two. But there is something unsettling about him. I do not trust him as much as I want to. He regaled to me the tales of Luxbourne Police Department, a different affair to the usual gossip I'm privy to, and though I loathe to admit, it's interesting nonetheless. I expect the topic of business to die out quickly, which would be understandable enough due to the confidential nature of his work. But, oh boy, was I wrong.
So, wearing civvies, I steal and drive off with one of the police mobiles, right? In the mirror, I see the new tank chasing on foot and screaming about theft. The look on his face was priceless when I parked it in the garage.
Well.
Oh my. You made him chase you all the way home for a prank. What did Rochelle have to say about that?
Rochelle has a strange love and hate affair with Lee. Hold on. Finishing off the wine. He's a married man who did not grow up past his early 20s, judging by the way he acts. Surprisingly enough, they've been married for a good 20 years. A lifetime if you compare it to my marriage of 7 years with Luke. I, on the other hand, well, Luke is no Lee. I should be happy about that, I suppose. Although my darling did have his moments.
The wife pulled my ear and gave me a good talking to, though. Besides, we live in a flat a block away, so it wasn't much of a grand chase.
Weren't you living in a house near the countryside?
Move for work, you know. Or you probably don't.
No, I don't. But a flat in downtown? I suppose if that's what you like.
Oh, it's horrid. Hate that tiny place, no matter how convenient it can be for work. 55 square yards are not enough when you need to get away from the wife. I wouldn't mind a place away from the city. Even started looking at the ads. I spied an interesting lot, actually. Heard it was finally put up for sale. Or that something mansion, you know the one with all the ghost stories.
I know what he's talking about. There are really only a few urban legends out there. It's...
The Ermagood Mansion?
That's the one. Worthy of a king it is. I'd buy it myself, but Rochelle would only gripe if I brought it up to her. Not to mention all the expenses a place like that will be a real fixer-upper. You also have to find someone willing to work there with how superstitious people can be.
If it becomes a problem, just hire someone to do an exorcism.
Actually, I do know of someone who could be up to the task. You remember the Ludgates party at their Christchurch summer residence?
Of course. It was an excellent soiree. Everything was so classy, too. Such good taste.
Oh, that place was a pigsty until they hired out this interior designer and they turned it into a bloody palace. She worked for the Exodus for their apartment in Soho too, and they recommended her when we were looking up pieces for our beach house in Porto Colom. I think I have a business card, right? No, I must have left it in my other jacket. Anyway, she's called, what's her name? Marianne, I believe, yes. But truly, if anyone were to get that place in McCullough, well, they'd be the envy and the talk of the town.
Well, if you put it that way, I might just snatch it up for myself.
Wonder if this is previous to her buying the place.
This place was starting to feel a bit small lately anyway.
Sure, a 3-story penthouse might not be fit the definition of small for some people. Okay, maybe a lot of people. But it isn't big enough to have grand parties in. As it is, I only invited about 30 people into this one, and it already feels cramped in here. It certainly would be nice if I didn't have to ride an elevator up and down several floors before I can get anywhere as well. All Luke's words, not mine. Besides, I've been looking for a good anniversary gift. Luke might like this one. Where is he, anyway? Yeah, it's like only 30 people? Oh my gosh. Luke is dressed to the nines as he usually is, and he looks ready for whatever the day will throw at him. His butler and valet wait at his side just in case he isn't as ready as he looks. Oh sure, that is normal. What is confusing me is the fact that he is on his way out of the penthouse, considering we won't have anywhere to go until much later.
Where are you going?
I am to attend the Triad Autumn Tasting. I do believe I informed you of this 2 weeks ago.
Yes. And might I remind you that I had stricken that off your schedule? Because 1, the doctor told you to stop consuming so much alcohol.
Sounds like someone I know.
And 2, I informed you a few days ago about the open house we are going to attend in its place. I've even found this marvelous interior designer, Mary Ann McCullough.
Oh, okay, so this is prior to them finding the mansion.
It's a 3.5-hour drive to Cardiff. I don't have time for this. This is like that little party you threw all over again. You don't inform me of it, and you expect me to stay and be a gracious host when I have business elsewhere.
Actually, give me 1 sec, guys. I'm gonna go grab some chips. I'll be right back. One moment. All right. Sorry about that.
You know how I operate, Hana. Unless this was penciled in, I am sticking to my schedule.
If I may intrude, the madam is correct. Your physician did insist you moderate your drinking, unless you wish to incur acute pancreatitis.
Well,
And you did have this open house penciled in last Wednesday morning.
Bullocks, I don't remember doing so.
Well, you did. While very hungover, in fact.
he did. Moaned about me being too loud and gave in after some pushing. That's actually really hilarious. Perhaps I was a bit too cruel and manipulative of me, but
Whose side are you on?
Come on, Luke. You promised we'd do whatever I want this weekend.
Gordon Bennett, fine. I am giving this house tour of yours a chance. But if it proves to be a waste of time, I am going to Cardiff and you are going to take a cab home.
what a dick.
Are we clear?
It's just a bit of a husband and wife tit for tat, isn't it? All couples have their arguments. Once the honeymoon phase is over, as they seem to call it, reality sets in and you and your partner might not always see eye to eye. Perhaps it's been the years. Well, 7 of them is nothing to scoff
I
at.
just cannot bloody believe I agreed to this. I was really looking forward to the triad tasting.
Though, sometimes I think it's something a bit more than just simple disagreements. And I have to stop myself from wondering where it went wrong.
There's always the Triad Christmas tasting in Manchester next month, and that'll only be an hour and a half drive.
Have I been neglectful? Have I offended? Have I acted shamefully?
Yes, but Cardiff.
Certainly, any problem can be discussed. As long as he doesn't turn me away.
Well, there goes my good mood. Are you happy now, Hana?
What do you guys think? Should I be quiet about it, or should I defend myself? I honestly think I should defend myself, but I want to see what you guys think. Okay.
Yes, I am very happy, Luke. Because for once in a very long time, we are doing what I want. I'm ecstatic. Understood? And this would be perfect if you stop acting like a child who needs their nappy changed.
Well,
We will be leaving after lunch for the Ermengarde mansion. You are going to park your rear in the car and keep mum. And you are going to behave during the tour.
needless to say, Luke looks a bit shocked at my little outburst. He opened and closed his mouth a few times, struggling to reply, before he crosses his arms to look like, well, a moping child.
Any more rules for this little excursion of yours, Your Highness?
No wine.
No wine. Unacceptable! I am already not allowed to the tasting, and you would deprive me of that simple pleasure?
If I see you take one sip today, I will put the stocks under lock and key. Do you understand me?
Don't forget the bottles he keeps in his dresser.
Whose side are you on?
How many times in one day can you ask that?
You'd be surprised.
As many times as I need you, traitor!
The ride to the mansion is quiet, with Luke having stared out the window the entire way, not paying attention to anything around him. Meanwhile, I'm conflicted. I don't know if I should apologize for changing his plans like that. But by the time we arrive at the mansion and I see his eyes light up with genuine interest, apologizing is the last thing on my mind. The whole affair with the Ermengarde mansion is certainly an interesting experience. The place had been renovated and restored by the owners to what they claim to be acceptable standards. The mansion itself looks like something befitting a fairy tale or a period piece. It is tastefully decorated and, with a bit of love and attention, I'm sure it can be a place Luke and I can call home. And with a number of other prospective buyers that have come from the powerful and wealthy of Luxborn certainly did not disappoint, making this estate as prime property. The Lees are among the group who went with the Rose Woman, and I saw a few other notable faces, though I did not really feel like mingling. Unfortunately, for every one of them, the Wrights are interested in buying. Yeah. What's been bugging my mind, however, is that Isabel. What is her problem? I still don't quite understand what's happening. One moment she's scrambling to give us the paperwork to finalize the sale, then she's panicking over some sort of prank letter or another. The second thing on my mind is how touchy my darling husband has been towards the poor dear. I cannot even muster a smile on my face, a horrid scowl taking its place. There is no way I can pretend nothing is wrong as I hum.
And I'm sure little Lily here would certainly appreciate it if you remove your pretty hands from her, darling.
He's quick enough to detract his hand, which is all the girl needs to. Well, however, for a lack of better word, escape.
I think I need to step out for a while. I'll be back.
Her partner follows, shouting after her without hesitation. There's an awkward air among us as we are left in the wake of whatever that was. Others murmur and gossip with each other, speaking of the poor, daft girl and telling the tale to whoever was not audience to the fact of the act in the first place. It doesn't take long for the woman Rose to return and pull us aside into the study for what I rightfully assume is damage control. Rose invites Marianne into hoping to apologize to her as well. But the woman refuses, saying she is not one of her clients anyway. That leaves myself, Rose, and Luke. The last all too eager to make myself comfortable in his study he's no doubt already claimed as his own.
I can't apologize enough about what just happened. Please forgive Isabella. She's been under a lot of pressure lately. She's young and all those rumors about this being haunted just got to her head. And it must be this terrible heat too. Not a drop of rain for days now.
Oh, it's fine. The poor girl must feel so embarrassed about what she just did. But I say, let bygones be bygones. After all, she's only a child. She looked, 19?
I shoot Luke an accusing look at these words. After all, he tried flirting with the girl. The nerve of him. Not only that Isabel girl, but also Marianne and Rose too? What kind of husband would think that it's even remotely a good idea to make moves on 3 different women while his wife stands there? Did he drink while I wasn't looking?
She's a bit older than that. But again, I apologize. And if there's any way I can make up for what just happened...
I know what you can do. Be a darling flower and get us one of those bottles you plan to serve.
Pop it open.
We were planning on serving some champagne. I can get that.
That would be lovely. Much obliged.
Do you want a glass as well, Ms. Wright?
Oh no, I'm fine. I really shouldn't be drinking right now.
Hint, hint, wink, wink. And Luke shouldn't be either. But right now, I'm just too tired for any sort of argument. I don't have the heart to scold him in public as well. I'm certainly not his mother. I just want to get this horrid day done with, go home and sleep. Perhaps I'll even have a strong Koopa before I head off to bed? Yeah, that sounds nice. When Rose comes back with the champagne, I beckon her over. As if I told her partner before, I have every intent of acquiring this house. Might as well, even if I'm having second thoughts about it, getting it for Luke. The moment we, the Wrights, have expressed interest in this place, we have set our eyes on us. Even if we don't buy it, they might as well have had several, or it might well be a signal to have busybodies gossip about how we may or may not have lost our fortune. Regardless of the fact that it is false, image is everything when dealing with these people. These are unspoken rules for people such as ourselves. And besides, I really did like the place. Why, everything here is absolutely wonderful. Oh, shit, except for that ugly painting in the study. It looks like a bad fake of an Edward Munch painting.
Here's the deal. I'm willing to pay 10% higher than your listing price. If anyone tries to outbid us, just add another 5%. I doubt anyone can, of course. Or, you know what? Just add 15% to the listing price, and we can sign all the paperwork now.
Oh dear.
I guess, if that's what you want. That won't be any trouble. I don't have all the papers now. Didn't think this would be a quick sell. I'll have copies sent to you so you can look over them. And if you'd still like to finish the rest of the tour with Isabella's group, you're more than welcome to.
No, I think we're good here. We'd appreciate a private tour of the place a lot more, I think.
All right. Should I let Marianne in, then?
Marianne? Oh, right. She's been waiting outside the study this whole time, hasn't she? I'll need to have a chat with her to move this little mansion project forward.
Please do.
The look of apprehension when the other woman enters the study. Yet, like a professional, I see the moment when she steals herself and masks her worry. Admirable.
We have this project then?
Of course. Will you be needing anything from us?
Having the floor plans would be a great start, just so that I can look at them beforehand. And if you could tell me when you're available for a meeting so that I can include it in my calendar?
Oh, is a meeting really all that necessary, Marianne? I guess we can send Johans to help you out. You two can start by getting rid of this ugly painting.
Oh, that's just not. A hush falls upon the room at my request.
What painting?
And lo and behold, the painting is gone. In its place, a mirror stands, which leaves me to look at my own confused expression.
Odd. Well, no matter. Back to the topic at hand. Marianne, dear, we are simply far too busy to meet up.
Perhaps, maybe I should... This isn't the first estate we've acquired, of course. We've bought plenty of others, from penthouses in Luxbourne to vacation towns in nearby cities. It is, however, the first time that an interior designer's asked for a meeting with me. Normally, I just let them do as they please and hope for the best. I found that they rather liked the creative freedom I lent them. They bragged about it. Hannah Wright is living in a house that I designed.
I can make time, but I'm sure you're more than capable enough to work on your own, yes? Surely I would just get in the way and you can do things faster and more efficiently without my input. Because, no offense, if you're one of those workers who need constant supervision and hand-holding, you might as well tell me now so that I can look for another interior designer to work with.
Surely. This one will feel the same.
Yes, I am capable of working without any design input and without supervision, Mrs. Wright. But it'd be entirely different if I know what you two would want for this home, how each room is meant to be used. You have to consider what sort of colour palette you would want, at the very least. Do consider that this will be your home and not mine.
Mm-hmm. None of those houses ever did feel like a home.
You won't give me a choice in the matter, will you?
What? No.
That's a bit of a lie.
You do have a choice, and...
No. You've clearly made up your mind that we must meet. All right, Monday, 10 o'clock sharp. We'll see you then.
Actually, Marianne suggested that we meet up at 9, but who's even awake at that unholy hour? Oh my god, yes, bitch, I agree. I was lucky enough to wake up this morning before Luke went all the way to Cardiff. We say our goodbyes, shake hands, and make it clear without saying anything that we now own this house. By the time we left the mansion grounds, sunset is almost upon us.
So, you really want to buy this place then? That's a bit of a big impulse buy, even coming from you. Not that I'm complaining.
Well, I'm glad you're not complaining like you usually do.
Lol.
It's a right and proper Christmas miracle, isn't it? Hannah has finally done something right.
I refuse to look at him, staring at the passing scenery instead.
Hey, Buttercup, what's with this cheek?
Rose, Lily, Mint. The nerve, Luke, the nerve!
Is that what this is about? 1, that woman's name was Rose. And 2, you know I don't mean a word of that empty flirting.
And it's still the principle of things, Luke. I understand if you try to woo them to get what you want when it seems that I'm not looking. But I told you once before not to do it when I'm there.
Bit of insecurity much? Luke dealt with the other woman in the past to get what he wanted. Sometimes I have my doubts. I really want to believe that I am an exception, that he is not just using me like how he used the other girls. I'm having a hard time believing that now. It isn't just the shameless flirting. There's something about the Marianne woman, as if Luke is familiar with her. As much as it shames me, it makes jealousy rear its ugly head. I am, suffice to say, ticked off.
Really? I forfeit my trip to Cardiff for this, and you're still not happy.
Oh, trust me, Luke. I am very happy. Very happy that, for once, we are doing something that I want.
First word problems.
Can you not see the smile on my face?
It's only when I let loose those words that the truth hits me like a slap in the face. And by the looks of it, it seems to have the similar effect on my dear, darling husband. It's always been Luke wants to do this and Luke wants to do that, hasn't it? I don't even remember the last trip we went to, which was of my own choosing without needing to get the man's approval. On the other hand, I was pulled along to every single expedition he wished to tackle, and I never objected. The rest of the ride home is spent ignoring each other, pretending the other doesn't exist. Arriving at our penthouse, my first order of business is to get to bed. Alright, speaking of getting to bed, I am actually going to save here. I'm going to take a break for the time being. And I will be back shortly. Later.